today's video is going to be a tutorial on this bronzy, I want to call it a spring look. I feel like this is pretty spring appropriate, even though I guess the lip might be a little bit dark, but it's this gorgeous kind of pinky berry color that I don't think that, you know, I would have worn in the winter, so I'll call it spring. Anyway, I did try to wear a nude lip with this. I really did. I actually cannot find a nude lip that I'm into right now. I'm all about the bold, the bright, and the dark, so I hope that's okay, but obviously you can wear this with whatever you want. And in the video, I'm actually going to show you a few drugstore options for things that I use. I don't have drugstore options for everything. Otherwise, I would have filmed the whole tutorial that way, and it really didn't occur to me until I was halfway done that I had dupes for a lot of the things that I use. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Please subscribe if you have not, and check the down bar for links to all my social media platforms, as well as information about every product used. Thumbs up the video if you did enjoy it, and leave me questions, comments, and fun facts down below. I will catch you in the next one. Love you more than you'll ever know. Bye. Alright guys, today I'm starting off with a primer as always, and I'm using MAC Painterly Paint Pot. You can use whatever you have. Use a concealer, put a little extra foundation on your lid, whatever you have to do, but don't skip this step. I'm just putting this all over my lid using a little synthetic brush from Sephora, and then I'm going to blend it out with my finger to make sure it's nice and smooth and we remove any excess product or potential creasing. And then I'm going to go in with a concealer that's a little bit lighter than my skin tone to kind of carve out the bottom of my brow. This is going to make your brow seem higher, lifted, cleaner, sharper, and it's also going to act as a base for our brow highlight powder that we go in at the end of the look, which just ties the entire eyeshadow look in together really nicely and makes it look super, super clean. Then I'm just gonna blend that together using that same synthetic brush I started off with my primer to make sure there's no harsh line between the two colors. And then I'm going to set that with vanilla eyeshadow from MAC. You can use a face powder, you can use any eyeshadow you have that's light in tone. It does help the blending process so much more to do this. And next I'm going in with Anastasia Beverly Hills Birkin eyeshadow. You can use soft brown if you have it. They're kind of similar. I just like this one a little bit more. And I'm going to start packing this in the outer corner, and we are going to employ our big brush lightest color rule, which means the lightest color in our look will take the biggest brush, and that will continue on throughout the look. Focus most of this on the outer corner and move your brush upward in a diagonal motion towards the inner part of your brow bone to help the eye look more open. If you go in an inverted kind of C shape like some people tend to do, it's a lot harder to blend and it looks really closed. Then I've taken Frappe from Makeup Geek, and this is a MAC 224, I don't know what it is, I can't remember the number. It's just a little bit smaller than the original brush I went in, so it's going in with a little bit darker of a color, and it's going to go lower on the eye, and it's going to stay in the outer corner, and it's not going to go up very high. Do fluff this in a little bit onto the actual lid because it will help the lid color blend in later. I did want to give you guys the option to use this palette. This is the Sonia Kashuk Eyes on Nude palette, I believe that's what it's called. You can literally do this whole tutorial with this palette using the colors, and the number indicates the order of which you will use it. Just so you know, you have the option to do that. Then I'm going to take, for me, what I ended up using actually was the Stila palette. I'm taking the color on the outer corner of the palette, and I'm going to take this on a smaller brush and work this in the outer corner of my eye, slightly moving up and slightly fluffing in, but we're not going any higher than any of the other colors that we've gone in with so far. And you're going to blend it out with bigger brushes as you move forward, as always, and feel free to build up your these are, I would call them like your depth building colors, as much as you feel you would like to. Same palette, just a little bit more of a cool tone, darker brown to create some contrast on an even smaller brush. And I'm going to push this in the outer corner. As always, moving forward, it gets repetitive, doesn't it? You just want to keep changing your brushes and going down. But once again, build it up as much as you want, and always blend out with bigger brushes. That's a step you do not want to skip. It does help as long as you stay on top of it moving forward. Excuse the way I sound, you guys. My allergies are killing me today. Then I'm taking black. Obviously, you can use any black that you have on an even smaller brush. I got this one from Sally's, and I've been using it for years. And I'm just going to poke this in the outer corner. I do go back later and deepen this up even more. Then I'm taking this eyeshadow from MAC called Sweet Heat, or you can use the L'Oreal Infallible eyeshadow called Amber Rush. It's absolutely gorgeous and very similar. And I'll put this all over the lid. The Amber Rush one is actually even more pigmented than the MAC one is, which is why I have to go in with a pigment on top of this later. If you use the Amber Rush one, you could probably just use it by yourself with just a little bit of Fix Plus and it'd be super metallic and beautiful. But I'm actually going to top this with a pressed pigment called Summer Honey. I always depot my pressed pigments because I feel like it makes it so much easier to manipulate the pigment, and it makes the overall finish of it so much more sparkly and beautiful, and it's easier to get on the brush. I get less fallout. This is a personal preference. My favorite way to store my pigments and my glitters is to depot them so that I don't forget to use them. It's a lot easier to get creative when you see what you have. Then I'm taking Shroom as a brow bone highlight. This is going right underneath the brow bone, and as you can see, having that lighter concealer right there just really helps it pop and makes it look so much cleaner. And then I deepened up the outer corner a little bit more with that black shadow. Feel free to go as smoky as you want with this. Then I just moved on to eyeliner. I decided to go just with a thin line from inner corner to outer corner using the Maybelline Gel Studio Eyeliner. It's from the drugstore. It's really, really good quality. I've been using it for years, but of course you can do no liner or you can use a wing if you want to. For lashes, I'm using the Velour Fluff and Whispie Silk Lashes from Sephora. They're absolutely stunningly beautiful, amazing, gorgeous. I need like 45,000 pairs of these. You don't understand. A good drugstore option are the Vegas Nay Eylure Grand Glamour lashes. You can get them at Target or Ulta. I think they're about $6 and they're stunningly, amazingly beautiful. I thought I would show you guys kind of how to do your lashes, even though it's not a formal tutorial. The first thing you want to do is measure it to fit your eye, and then if it's too long, which it almost always will be, you just want to cut the outer corner, double check that it fits your eye correctly. I like to kind of do this little number right here with it to help it mold to the shape of your eye a little bit better. Put your glue on. While your glue is drying, go ahead and curl your lashes and do mascara. Let the glue get tacky. That's the number one thing. It takes a little while to get that timing right, but then just pop them on with tweezers. It's the easiest way to do it. It literally takes me about 2 seconds to do my lashes, especially if I've already worn them before and they're already cut to fit my eye and kind of molded that way. You kind of got to fidget with them a little bit to get them where you want them, but it's super easy. Then I sprayed my skin with the makeup priming spray from Skindinavia. I've been really into these priming sprays recently. And then I'm going to go in with some lip balm. This is from a coconut oil company. I can't remember the name of it. I'll leave it down below, but I've been loving coconut oil products lately. And then I'm going to take this color correcting cream from, it's not actually a color correcting cream, it's a MAC Pro. Their products are intended to be just kind of like mediums of which you can do anything with it. You can use them to make eyeliners, lipsticks, foundations. They're amazing, but I've been using this as a color corrector lately, just kind of customizing my own formula. And then I'm going in with L'Oreal True Match in the color N1. It's a really, really good drugstore foundation. I've been using it so much lately because I haven't started buying pale skin foundation yet. And I know if like I just need a great foundation that's going to get the job done, I can always count on the L'Oreal True Match. It's just a great foundation. I'm applying that with a Sigma 3D Kabuki brush. I like this brush a lot because I always do my brows and my eyes first when I do my makeup for the most part. And this brush, the way it's shaped, it's so easy to get around the areas of my face that I don't want to get foundation on, like my eyebrows or my eyelids. But no matter what brush I use, I still almost always hit it with some sort of sponge, like a Real Technique sponge or a beauty blender, just to make sure I absorb any excess product. For concealer, I'm going in with the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye in the color Fair. And this whole part is kind of sped through because it does get repetitive. I will leave a baking tutorial down below. I didn't bake on this particular day, but the actual process of concealing is the same. If you guys just want to see something more in depth, or watch any one of my other tutorials where I kind of go a little bit more in depth with what I'm doing. But all I'm doing is putting the concealer under my eyes, bridge of my nose, Cupid's bow, chin, and forehead. You can highlight or conceal any way that you want to. I've been loving this concealer lately. I love how pigmented it is. I don't have to use a lot of it at all to get the coverage that I need, and it blends out really well. It lasts a long time, doesn't really crease on me. Then I'm going to blend that out using the same Real Technique sponge that I use to blend my concealer. I pretty much always blend my concealer, to blend out my foundation. I pretty much always use a sponge to blend out my concealer and a brush to apply it. Then I'm going to take the RCMA No Color Powder and use it to set the under eye area, bridge of the nose, pretty much everywhere I did my concealer. These are the areas that I tend to get oily or my makeup tends to kind of move around the most, and it's just going to ensure that it lasts all dang day. Then I'm going to bronze. I'm not using an actual bronzer. This is the Studio Care Blend Powder from MAC in the color Medium Dark. I'm using it because, like I said before, I'm not normally this fair, so I haven't like acquired an accoutrement of you know, fair skin complexion. Obviously, like, you don't have to buy a bronzer ever. You can use face powder to highlight, contour, do whatever you want with it. But right now, this is my preferred shade to do kind of the bronzing slash warming up of my skin tone. But you can use whatever you have. Hoola is actually a really good one. Good bronzer for fair skin tones as well. Then I'm taking Harmony Blush from MAC with the tip of this brush to lay down the color as my contour, like my formal contour color, if you will. And I'll take the fluffy side to blend it out to make it a little bit softer. I went to go replace my Harmony blush the other day, which is my favorite contour shade ever, and they told me they didn't care anymore. Do you guys have any recommendations for dupes? Then I'm going to set the underside of it using that RCMA powder. This is going to set the underside of my makeup, which I didn't do before, and it's also going to cook, sharpen, and straighten up that line. Moving on to the bottom lash line, which I say in every single video is very, very optional, but I pretty much never skip it. I'm starting off with that Birkin color and a pencil brush, buffing it underneath the eye and connecting it with the top shadow that I laid down. Once again, it's going to open up the eyes a little further, make them look bigger, brighter, and more awake. And I always blend every step of the way. So I lay it down with a pencil brush, and then I'll go in with a little bit of a fluffier brush to soften up the edge where it connects to my skin tone. Then I'm going to go in with the NYX brown that we use in that Stila palette on a smaller brush. I'm going to keep this kind of on the outer corner. You can do whatever you want to here. And then taking the very darkest color on the very smallest brush, I'm going to use it to open up the inner corner of my eye slightly by drawing a straight line headed towards my tear duct. This will really open up the eyes further. Take this cream colored eyeliner from MAC. I believe this is the NW20, NW25 pencil in the waterline. I always do this step before I do mascara because sometimes putting this cream liner, it'll travel down and then it'll kind of color your lashes a cream color. So if you do the mascara second, it will help that process. I used to do the mascara first and liner second, and it was always a mess. Now I'm taking High Beam from Benefit as my highlighter today. This is a really cool formula. I'm just kind of dotting it on the higher planes of my cheeks, and then I'll do my nose, my cupid's bow, my chin, all that good stuff, and blend it out with my finger. I like the overall look of this one. Sometimes I think highlighters, especially like the really frosty, chunky ones, just look like someone took an eyeshadow and rubbed it all over their face. I think I'm just not into the highlighter trend like everybody else is. This is a lot more natural to me in a more subtle way of getting a glowy complexion as opposed to just looking like frosty, if that makes sense. Then I'm taking Luminoso blush from Milani. It's one of my favorites, not just from the drugstore, but like in general. And I'm putting that all over the cheeks for a nice, warm, kind of peachy glow to the skin that's not going to be too much with me being as fair as I am, but I do think this color looks good on pretty much everyone. For lip liner, I'm going in with SOAR from MAC. So I'm going to use a liquid lipstick, and obviously you do not have to use lip liner when using a liquid lipstick, but if you're like me and you have a weird lip line that disappears into nothing, this helps kind of carve it out and give you the shape that you want. If you use a neutral color when you go in with your lipstick, I couldn't decide between Aria from Stila or Bacca from Stila. I ended up going with Bacca, but at least this way when you go in with your lipstick, you won't be able to see the lip liner underneath it because it's such a light color in comparison to the actual liquid lipstick itself. But that's just a trick. If you don't have a lip liner that's the same color as your liquid lipstick, you can still use lip liner either way. I absolutely love this color. It's one of the most gorgeous liquid lipsticks I've ever seen in my life. Then I'm just going to set using the Skindinavia makeup setting spray, and then you're all done. Hope you guys enjoyed. Bye!